Hey guys, Ponce here on the PBE, here to bring everyone a quick heads up about some potential Ekko Nerfs. Now you might remember I made a video a little while back, and these have since hit live, I believe, but I was talking about sort of looking at Ekko and slowly chipping away at him, and I said it's good that they're not, just nerfing him into the ground right away. They're looking at Ekko and realize, okay, he's a bit strong, let's kind of see what's going on here, and not overreact because, people are still learning him, how to play him, how to counter him, all that kind of stuff. And I believe they lowered like a mana cost on his W and like movement speed, and it wasn't the biggest thing ever. So yeah, the slight chipping away at Ekko is continuing. As you can see above my head, they've changed some stuff. This actually includes some buffs in a sense. In that they've increased his base mana. So the mana you start at level 1 is now 300, and the mana you gain per level has gone up by 10 from 40 to 50. So basically he has more mana to work with, which is, if you're going to buff him somewhere, I suppose not a bad idea. It's kind of frustrating working with Ekko's limited sort of mana supply very early on. That was sort of one of the complaints I had for his early game, which basically why I felt it was his weakest phase. You didn't have a lot of resources to work with. But yeah, other than that, the actual nerfs, again, these aren't the biggest thing ever, but they've lowered the AP ratios on his Time Winder. That's the Q, this thing here. So the initial hit, and then on the way back, it can hit again. Between the two of them, they've lowered the total AP ratio by 0.1. So it used to be a 0.8 ratio if you hit with both things. Now it's down to a 0.7. So initial hit went from 0.2 to 0.15. And then the secondary hit, it went from 0.6 to 0.55. Do the math. It's lowered the entire ratio by 0.1. Now, the last thing I did, this actually I find curious that Ekko didn't have to begin with, but they've given his ult an actual mana cost. Used to be 0, you cast it for free whenever you want. I found that really weird and just kind of like, extra shit piled onto an already good champion. There's really no reason for his ult to be free. I don't know why it was. It now has an actual cost. Now, if you consider the fact that they've increased his mana, in a sense, it sort of offsets the fact that he has Chrono Break, but you actually need to be careful what you do with mana now. By the time you actually have your ult at level 6, you'll have gained, I believe, like 70 mana. So it's almost like his mana, or compared to his old self, his ult basically costs like 30 mana if you think about it in a certain way, but you have to have, sit back and actually reserve that mana as opposed to, spam and use it all. So, it's an interesting trade-off. You have to actually think of what you're doing in terms of mana costs, but, you have more mana to work with at the very least. And of course, as you level up, you gain more and more mana. But, as you level, mana costs really don't tend to be too much of an issue. So, yeah, those are the changes there. Like I said, I don't know if this makes Ekko balanced, in my opinion. I'd have to play him out. It's kind of difficult to gauge when, again, Riot slowly chips away at a champion, at which point he becomes balanced and at which point, he's still overpowered kind of thing. If I were to make a pure guess, like just completely uneducated, top of my head, kind of thing, I would say probably they're not done nerfing Ekko. Maybe something else very small. At this point, they can't major nerf him because he's getting, again, more towards that balance thing because, they've stripped back his power small bit by small bit. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, or like I always say, if they keep changing them, I'll be here to let you guys know. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.